Hey, how's it going, everybody? We've got some fun stuff that's been going on the past few weeks, as you guys have seen on this channel specifically. I'm posting a lot, me casting, but Shift Summer League has been going on and will continue to go on for the next few weeks. And I figured every Monday or Tuesday, we can actually do a recap for you before the next week of matches start. If you guys aren't familiar with how things apply, we're going to take a look at EU and then we'll get into NA. Every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern is the European portion. I cast Jobless, which is Oli, Ixo, and Nas, who used to be of M80. We covered all their matches and stuff, but there's also a bunch more going on. There is 10 teams competing at all times, and they all play each other twice. So this will go on for 4 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it may be. In the first day, we had our matches here on the left. Every team played 3 matches, and then day 2, which is on Wednesday, same times, 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern for North America. They play 3 more matches. So it's 2 back-to-back. We cast a bunch. Stop by the stream if you get under confusion. But things in day 1 went pretty straightforward, I would say. There wasn't too many crazy upsets, although Oxygen did start off with kind of a slow start. The cool thing about this tournament is it is providing us a little bit of insight of how off-season stuff has happened. And I think we will really see things amp up in the second time they play each other. A lot of teams, and GenG has mentioned this, kind of jumping ahead to North America, but GenG's like, hey, we just got done with break. We've only been going for a couple days. It's going to take us some time to ramp up. And I think that applies to a lot of different rosters. You're also seeing some collaboration of teams like Luna Galaxy and Complexity, where you're having CRR play instead of a Chronic. You've got the fake German Amigos or the old German Amigos team kind of coming together. And then some new faces as well that have been pretty entertaining outside of that. Ultimately, you're getting more consistent rosters and more consistent play, but over the course of all the matches in the first week, the results are as follows. Up first, and let's have a prettier graphic for this. You've got Oxygen sitting at 5-1. They dropped their first series, and then since then, it's been pretty close for them. They've had some ups and downs, but consistency-wise, it hasn't been the cleanest. But they are finding ways to win. And a lot of the conversation around this tournament is due to the fact that none of the French teams have signed up. They wanted to be paid to play. They wanted appearance fees and stuff like that, which is crazy because funding-wise has to go to production, casters, admins, and everything else. You're then also talking about like a $20,000 prize pool as well. And that prize pool is your appearance fee. By playing and competing, you get a chance to earn the money. And it's, I don't know, it's a little selfish. It's also stagnating growth potential for everybody involved. So a little crazy there. The Luna Galaxy and Complexity roster is actually sitting in second, tied with 3 other teams, 100%, who started really, really flat on day 1, and then Crispy and the boys really popped off in day 2. Fake German Amigos looking pretty solid, and then Endpoint. If you guys don't know the Endpoint roster, Methane iteration of some. Arju left and then came back, and then left and then came back. Like, it's basically the Monkeys roster that used to be the Misfits, now under Endpoint, but they performed quite admirably. Jobless, which is a team I covered, started great, 3-0. It looked like they and Oxygen were going to be the top dogs, and then they went 0-3 and looked miserable in the second time around. So again, it is a long process. There's a lot of matches to be played, so still a bit to go. They still have what, it's 18 matches total, because they play every team twice. I think that's how that works. 9 and 9 is 18. So yeah, we've got 2 weeks left. It'll start up again Tuesday, which is probably today when I'll put out this video. So come log in and hang out with us. And then outside of that, Resolve is looking how I always expect Resolve to go. I've never really been too keen on that roster. I think they're competent, but like realistically, with no pressure, off season, nothing to play for, some of these other teams are going to pop off. The only team that remains winless, though, is that JJ Rocks roster, which is like the Mark by 8 team that they were trying to build. And then there's the new Spanish team, which I thought this team was going to do a heck of a lot better, considering they had like Dying and Stizzy and stuff on it, like a really strong Spanish team. So surprises there. Over in North America, we've had a little bit of chaos. GenG starting really, really slow. You saw Space Station starting slow. The big conversation, though, has been around Shopify Rebellion. Right now, 2 Piece is on vacation. So their old player, now coach in Memory, has been phenomenal. He had like a 1.99 rating in their win over GenG, and it was like, what is going on? And that has continued throughout. I'm covering Pirates on a Boat during all of this, And it's been back and forth, to say the least. They had a really rough day 2. They went 0-3, and it wasn't close in the majority of their matches. Dignitas has had some moments. They're playing now. It's Evo, Arsenal, and Zenil coming over from Cloud9, which has been pretty exciting. OG continues to be riding that wave as always. RMC you're not going to recognize, but you should know them. That's the former Luminosity guys with Redos, Magic Bear, and Cheese. They played otherworldly in day 2. Really heavy on aggressive demos and stuff like that, even taking G2 all the way to game 5. But results-wise, things I would say pretty expected. The big upset, though, has been Incorrect. Incorrect was a team that kind of scraped in. A lot of people didn't expect them to make it into it. With Flitz, Expert, and Wondamike, who many of you probably don't remember, who used to play for Sonics, I think, at one point, or was it United, or maybe both. They have been playing very well and are sitting in the playoff potential. So overall results, and we can take a look at the pretty one. Space Station is actually the team that is on top 5-1. G2 conceded some matchups that we were pretty surprised by. The biggest one was them dropping to, if I can find it, they got swept by Space Station, which Space Station has had their ups and downs, but them losing in 5 to Dignitas, little controversial as well, because game 1, Beast Mode didn't show up on time, so they had to forfeit, which a lot of people are like, hey, we'll just play another one. It's no big deal. On the other side of that, the schedule has been posted. You know exactly when it's going to play out. You know exactly when you need to be there. No excuses on you, Beast Mode. Like, you played the previous day. You know exactly when it's starting. No different the second day. So shame on you, Beast Mode, even though you guys are still going to probably win this whole thing. But yeah, results-wise, Fun is the team with Talk, T. Corel, and Nitrous. They've had splashes and moments. They've been competitive. Pirates on a Boat started okay and has been pretty rough ever since. Other than that, a lot of teams in the middle of the pack, very close game differentials, keeping it even. I expect GenG to ramp up as time goes on. I'm very excited actually to continue to watch the XLG RMC team. As their playstyle, they're experimenting a little bit with their coach Greg, and it seems to be pretty threatening. Continuous pressure, lots of demos, very risk heavy. Whether that'll translate into a more competitive space, I don't know. But for online play with nothing on the line, really, pretty dope. So again, competition, new iterations without Gyro for Dignitas looking good. But again, you're going to see a lot of heavier matches in the second week between the top teams. Most of these teams have played kind of the lower teams, and then it's going to continue to level up from there. So those head-to-heads, do not expect them to stay the same. You're going to see these standings shift a ton over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, these will be going down again Tuesday. For EU, it is going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday, Wednesday. For NA, it is 7 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday and Wednesday as well. That'll be going on this week and the following week before they get into playoffs, which is only top 6. Outside of that as well, we did see a new tournament announced. If you guys remember Flip and Spin, it was a LAN event that was ran on by the French teams. Another off-season event announced. It's going to be a 4 invited teams with open qualifiers at Paris Games Week on the 25th of October. So the tail end of October is when this one will be going down, which is pretty dope. So more off-season tournaments happening with some of the big dogs. Should be a lot of fun. But that's going to wrap it for today's video. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, stop by the stream, ask in the comments, and we'll do our best to get you covered. And while you're down there, if you enjoy the content, consider subscribing, liking the video, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.